And he's an AFL great and a self-confessed troublemaker. And it seems trouble has followed Jason Akermanis into his real estate career. A client can't believe what came out of his mouth when he was selling her home, and it was caught on camera.
Jason Akermanis, round medal winner.
The greatest side of the modern era.
He's the face of AFL and everybody knows him.
Jason Akermanis has kicked one of the goals of the season.
From the footy field to real estate.
Jason Akermanis here, and I'm going to do exactly what I'm about to do. Every time I make a sale, I'm going to do a handstand.
Controversy follows Jason Akermanis, but he's never been accused of doing something as low as this.
You've been caught on camera disclosing personal information about her.
No.
She was a domestic violence victim?
She was.
You knew that?
Yep.
Jason just voluntarily offered up information about my whole private situation.
You had to get a court order yourself. Oh, wow.
Is he still in jail?
No, he's out.
Instantly felt sick hearing it.
I don't know what real estate agent would ever think that is a good idea to tell a potential buyer.
No.
Selling a house can be stressful at the best of times, but for Brisbane mother of two, Bianca Stylis, it was at one of the most vulnerable points in her life.
It was extremely stressful for me. My ex had just been released from jail.
You were a DV victim, heavily pregnant, in a very vulnerable position.
He was on bail and there was still his car and all his possessions at our home, which we were trying to organise via solicitors to have all of that collected. And if the property didn't sell within 3 months, it was court ordered to go to auction.
That's when she hired Jason Akermanis, who is the real estate agent in charge of Blue Moon Property based in Brisbane's Ascot.
G'day everyone, this is Aker. I'm your auctioneer, my name is Jason Akermanis.
I had no idea who he was. No idea who he was. It wasn't until weeks later when we had the sign at the front and my neighbours who are AFL fans said, "Oh, that's Jason Akermanis." And I was like, who?
Can he make it 2 from 2? He'll bring the house down. We love you, Aker.
Nicknamed Aker, he's an AFL Hall of Famer, a 3-time premiership player and Brownlow medalist, playing 325 games during his time with the Brisbane Lions and Western Bulldogs, kicking 421 goals. Nowadays, he swapped the footy boots for an auctioneer hat.
6:15, good bidding, we're starting to get somewhere. This is LMR. This is a wonderful opportunity right across from the footy club. I played my very first game in Queensland.
Jason was aware of all of my stresses and aware of my situation.
When the day finally came for Bianca's first open home, potential buyers were about to find out a lot more than the price guide.
I had left the house and was excitedly waiting with my friend, and I started seeing through the cameras on my phone that there was quite a lot of people coming through. There was a lot of interest. Then I heard something that made my blood boil.
It's a long story, but the lady's ex went to jail, and it's just to get a bit extra cash to cover.
I'm just like, sorry, like what?
You had to get a court order yourself, believe it or not. Oh, wow.
Is he still in jail?
No, he's out. We had to come and collect all his crap, which was down the sides on.
And then he kept doing it.
Good property. The lady herself.
Yep.
She's ex-husband.
Yep.
Who says that to a potential buyer?
I don't know. I don't know why he would even say that. And when I spoke to him about not disclosing personal information, he sort of wrote back and just said, "Oh yeah, my bad about that."
She was a domestic violence victim?
She was.
You knew that?
Yep.
It wouldn't be the first time Aker's loose lips landed him in hot water. There have been offensive comments on television and racist remarks on radio. And that time he was banned from 3 golf clubs accused of bad behaviour.
Could be I'm a bit of a troublemaker.
But disclosing personal information about a DV victim is a new low, and it doesn't end there. You can also hear Jason falsely telling buyers downstairs is legal bedroom height.
I told him multiple times verbally and also in text messages.
It says 4 bed, but technically only 3.
It is a 4-bedder.
Despite all of this, Bianca gave him a second chance, but then he claims he was too busy to show up for another open home.
He had all these speaking gigs booked in, and he had, like a footy trip away to Melbourne.
You want to see your house sold? Feel free to ring me.
But Bianca says Jason failed to deliver, so she sacked him.
I copped a barrage of abuse and blame, that I was at fault and I was the worst person he's ever worked with.
I have dealt with thousands of people in my life. I reckon you are up for the people I would never like to work with again. The carry-on alone is unforgivable. You should be the one who is in shame. Most ungrateful person I have ever dealt with. I don't get paid. No money, no thanks, just lies and deceitfulness.
I can't believe he's put this in writing too.
Yeah. So I wrote back to the first one and I just said, I think I said, what a horrible thing to say, shame on you. And then he started off with, that was the nice version.
It wasn't until Bianca saw his recent behaviour on the Seven Network's SAS Australia that she decided to come forward.
I don't need to come on a course like this and prove anything else to anyone else.
He was the first to leave the show over a toe condition.
Zarisha from A Current Affair.
Yeah.
How's your toe, mate?
Well, it flares up all the time.
Bianca's stylist, do you remember her? You've been caught on camera disclosing personal information about her.
I don't know what I said.
So you were caught on camera telling potential buyers that there was a court order to sell the house, that her ex-husband went to jail and he was now out of jail, and all this crap you said was down the side. Why would you tell potential buyers that?
They asked why are they selling. I told them why they're selling.
From our perspective, it is entirely inappropriate to be discussing details about domestic violence with anyone outside of the client.
Antonia Mercarella is from the Real Estate Institute of Queensland.
There is an argument that perhaps the real estate agent has actually breached their legal and contractual obligations to their client.
And when it comes to disclosing information about the property itself,
it is incredibly important that when advertising a property that you are advertising it truthfully and that you are not misleading members of the public.
But the legal hype thing, that I should have asked. That was just bad.
Aker also acknowledging his other comments were out of line.
I made the errors, and that's the last thing I want. Particularly ladies, I have 3 daughters, a wife. I let my emotions get away from this, and I shouldn't have said any of those things.